Hi guys, you're welcome back. So in this video, we'll be talking about valid pullbacks. So we'll be showing which one is a valid pullback, which is not a valid pullback, and how you can take your trades using the concepts of valid and invalid pullbacks. So you want to stick around to the end of this video so that because at the end I'll be showing you a trade which I took using this simple concept and how you can take the very entries and make some money off the market using these simple concepts I'm about to show you today. So let's take a look at the charts. If you have any comments along this video, you can just leave them in the comment section. Then I'll respond to you. Any questions you have or any comments, and if there is anything you want us to improve on, you can leave it in the comment section. We'll check it out after the video, guys. So if you are new to this channel and you have not subscribed, consider subscribing. Support this channel. Let's grow so that you can have more content like this in the future. So let's take a look at the chart. So guys, in this example, we'll be looking at this instant here, this from here down to here, these three candles, basically these three large candles. So as you can see here, from here this market was dropping. So this market was dropping here, and what we had here, our last candle was this. These candles have relatively the same low, and what happened here is price went up and took out this other candles low here. So when price took out this candles high here, we this met our criteria for a valid pullback. So since price took out these candles high here and push up here, what we were waiting for is for price to take out, finally to take out the low of this to validate this as our pullback, as our valid pullback. So price finally took out uh, the low of this here, validating this as a valid pullback. So we will look at this other example here. What we have here is price was pushing up here, price was pushing up here. What you can see is the candles high, the last candle high here was this white candle here, this white candle. So it had uh the highest high in this range. So what we needed to happen is we needed price to at least pull below this white candles low, like price did here. Price pull below the white candles low here, then finally taking out the high. So this is a valid pullback also. So here this move is something like this. So when you're identifying your valid pullback, all you need is for the highest candle in the range. Let's say this market is moving up like the case here. What you can see is, let's disregard all this. Take for instance, this white candle is pulling up here. So if there's supposed to be a valid pullback, what needs to happen is price needs to come and take out the low of this candle, the low of this highest candle in this range, which is here. So if there's supposed to be a valid pullback, price should push below here and continue breaking above this candle. In this case, this will be a valid pullback. But if price pulls and doesn't take out the low of this candle and continue like this is not a valid pullback. This is not a valid pullback so long as this candle is the highest candle in this range. So if that happens, this will be considered as internal structure. So this will be internal structure within this candle range, within this candle range. So I know most of you must be asking why I'm teaching you this. Is because the concepts I teach, they revolve around valid pullbacks. If you cannot get your valid pullbacks right, you will not get your inducement right, you will not get your liquidity right, you will not get your entries right. So I've discovered that many of the people that have been going through my content are either confused about this, or they cannot mark it out correctly. They make many mistakes. So I've decided to come and clear this out, take my time and teach this. So if you are new to this channel, consider subscribing, leave a comment on what you are facing difficulties on and what you think we should cover next. So let's go into an example of an invalid pullback. Okay, guys, for the example of an invalid pullback, we'll be looking at this circumstance right here. We'll be looking at this right here. So what you can see is price was pushing up here. What you see here is this is our highest candle within this range. This is our highest candle with this range. So after the high of this candle was formed, what we saw is we saw these candles pushing down and finally breaking above this candle up. But what this candle fails to do is it fails to take out the low of this candle here. So since price did not take out the low of this candle, this pullback here is not valid. So like we said in the previous videos, if you look here, you see that this candle, this is the highest candle within this range. This white candle is the highest candle within this range. And what happened is this candle started retracing. When this candle was formed, it started retracing. So what we are looking for is for price to take out the low of these candles for this pullback to be considered valid. But price failed to take out the low of these candles. Price did not take out the low of these candles. So anything that is happening between here and here is considered as internal structure within this candle. So price did not take out the low of this candle. So this is not considered a valid pullback. This is just uh, uh, a movement in price. We don't consider this as a valid pullback. But if you move up right above here, what you can see is this candle here was the highest candle within this range. And what price did here is price wick below this candle. Price wick below this candle, taking out the candle's low and finally breaking it up. So this will be a valid pullback here. This is not a valid pullback. So I hope uh, you get the point. So let's take another example again, and then we can go over to the entry I took and I will show you how I took the entry and how you can take such entries by yourself using this small concept that I'm teaching here. Okay, so let's look at this example here. This is more of a complicated example. I know that you guys can understand. You guys will understand here more better. So what we have here is we have price pushing down. So at this point the the lowest of this candle is this one. This is the low of the candle here. So what happens here is internal structure until here this candle finally breaks this candle finally breaks the low of this candle. So we now, for choosing our value pullback, we now look at this candle only. So after breaking the low of this candle, what happened is price push above the high of this candle. So after price push above the high of this candle, price finally dropped down, taking the low of this candle. So in this case, this is our valid pullback. This is the high of our valid pullback here, because this is our lowest candle in this range. So this is the high of our valid pullback here. So this is a valid pullback in this case. Then if you drop down to here, what we can also see here is we have this move down. So this is our highest candle in this range. What happened is we have this candle that formed as internal an internal candle. This also form as an internal candle. This form as an internal candle. So what happened here is price now took out the low of this candle. This candle, we took out the low of this candle. So what do, if we were waiting for a valid pullback here, we'll be waiting for price to take out the high of this candle, which price never did. Price just fell, dropped straight down. So this is not a valid pullback. And what you can also see here is you can also see here that after this violent drop here, we have the low of this candle, which was the highest in this range. And this candle here is considered as an internal structure because it did not take out the low of this one. So now, after this candle, the next candle that came out, this one broke the low of this candle, broke the low of this candle. So this is where we'll be looking for for it to break out of this to violate the high of this candle before we can see take it as a valid pullback. So in this case, we never had a violation of this high. Then we had another candle which took out the low of this. So this is the point where we'll be looking for our valid pullback. So at this point, no candle took out the high of this. These candles here took out the high of these candles, but price never took out the low. So this is not a valid pullback here. This is not considered a valid pullback. This is just another price action. So I hope uh, you guys have understood this lesson. Let's go on to the trade I took, and I'll show you how I took the trade and how you can take similar trades. So let's go. Okay. Okay, as you can see here, let's use the principle which I've just taught. So as you can see here, we had this price moving up. We have price moving up here. So this was the highest candle in this range, and price took out the candle, so creating this pullback here. So after price created this pullback here, price push above, and after price pushing above, price finally pullback, taking out this pullback here. So when price took out this pullback here with this, we now then consider this as a valid break of structure. We now consider this point here as our valid break of structure because price has taken out inducement. So this valid pullback here serves as our inducement. So after price broke this structure to the upside, price continued, then finally made a retracement, failing to take out the low of this. So at this point, we're still buyers, then price failed to take out the high. After that, price then finally dropped and took out our protected low, which is this low here. So when price took out the protected low here, we now saw that it now gave us our change of characters, which is this, because this was a valid break of structure here. So there was no reason why price should pull down here except a change of character. So after this change of character, price created this other block before this change of character, this supply zone you see here. So after the change of character, price gave us this inducement here and this inducement here using the valid using our pullback rule. What you can see here is this candle here was the lowest in this zone. This candle was the lowest here, so price push below it, so price created this our first inducement here, this one here, and finally our other block. So when price came in and tapped into this our other block, first of all, price tapped into this other block, but there was no inducement to finally sell. So price finally took out this liquidity here and tapped into this other block to the 50% of this other block, then finally dropping and taking out this pullback here sends as our internal chalk. So as you can see, because this was our highest candle in this range, the low needed to be taken out and the high taken out for it to be considered a valid pullback. So when the low of this candle was taken out, we anticipated a push above this. So when this high was taken out, now we now had a level to mark as our change of character. So when this our change of characters occurred here, what we waited for is for price to put an inducement before our re-entry zone, which we had it in form of this pullback. As you can see here, this was our lowest candle here, and price pulled above this candle here and finally broke below it, validating that this was our valid pullback and it could act as our liquidity and inducement in this case. So after that, now we waited for price to pull above this and tap into this supply zone here. Then we took our entry. As you can see, we nailed it. It was a sniper, and price finally fell, dropped down, and taking out this low. So this was the low we were targeting. So price gave us that was a 1 to 6 risk to reward ratio with yes, with about 76 pips in take profit. So guys, that will be all for this video today. If you have not subscribed to this channel, please subscribe, support us, let's grow together. You'll see more content like this in the future. Thank you for watching. God bless you all. Have a nice trading week.